I first discovered Mucha as a teenager through his posters, which we had at home. This summer, I came back to his art. In recent years, the Mucha Foundation started the Mucha Trail, exhibitions in places where Mucha lived and worked in the Czech Republic. Ivančice and Moravský Krumlov in Moravia, Zbirov Castle in Bohemia, and Piešťany in Slovakia. This time I wanted to see it not just as a fan, but as an artist and as a Moravian, so I set out to visit them all. Today I'm in Ivančice, the beginning of Mucha Trail and the beginning of Mucha himself. And behind me is his native house where he was born, and it has the little spire. I hope you can see it. And we are going in to have a look at local exhibition of his beginnings and how the local art, folk art, influenced him. So let's go and see. One of the first Mucha works I ever loved was Rêverie. I saw it both in Ivančice, in his birth house, and in Piešťany, where he spent time recovering in the local spa in the late years of his life. The artwork began as a calendar image, but it became so popular that it was printed as a decorative lithograph on its own. A young woman sits daydreaming, framed by a halo of lace-like ornament. I loved the Egyptian-style decorations on her dress, her bound hair adorned with flowers, and the watercolor softness of her face. Everything is contained in a perfect circle, elegant, clean, yet still embraced by nature. Mucha's poster designs were known for their clean, flowing lines, and this was thanks to his masterful use of ink. He often worked with a dip pen, using black or sepia ink to create the fine, precise lines that gave his posters their elegance. For broader strokes, or when he needed more expressive lines, he would switch to a brush. He typically started with a pencil sketch, sometimes in blue or red pencil, before going over it with ink. The final lithographs often had that sharp, printed quality, but in reality, the original works had a softer, hand-drawn quality, a perfect balance between precision and fluidity. Just before Rêverie, Mucha created the poster for Sarah Bernhardt's play, The Lady of the Camellias. It was one of her favorites. I used to own a large print of Gismonda, but when I saw Camellias, I knew it was the one I would love forever. In Ivančice, they displayed the theatrical posters cleverly on a street column, just like in Paris. This poster helped launch Mucha's fame. It has all the elements that made his style revolutionary: graceful women, theatrical elegance, and Art Nouveau ornament turning advertisement into art. For me, it resonated on another level because of my family's theatrical background. I feel that mix of drama and beauty deeply. But I also just love the details, her flowing white dress, the elaborate coiffure with a flower, and the stars glowing on a violet background. Pure bliss. Then there's Feather, one of those tall, narrow, decorative panels. I saw it in Ivanchit together with primroses, but honestly, feather just drew me in more. Her hair is swept up with this oriental ornament. Her gaze is dreamy yet confident, and that feather, it feels almost like a muse, as if she's about to whisper an idea. And what I love is knowing how Mucha created these. He would start with a quick sketches or even photographs of his models, then make it a big detailed drawing at full size. That was transferred onto lithographic stones, one for each color. He usually painted a watercolor study first, just to plan the soft pastel palette, and then the master printers like Champenois in Paris would layer it all together. So when you look at feather, it's not only this elegant, inspiring image, it's also the result of his amazing process, a perfect blend of art and craft, and that's why it feels timeless to me. And then something completely different. Drawings and paintings with a clear Moravian folk flavor. I saw them both in Ivančice and Piešťany. Mucha created a set of 40 plates for decorative figures, focused on embroidery and lace of traditional costumes, trying to preserve folk art that was fading away. He even dressed his models in costumes he owned. This painting, probably watercolor or gouache, shows 3 young women in folk dress, arranged like a stage tableau. The composition is irresistible, a little theatrical, but the girls' relaxed mood captures the peacefulness of a summer landscape. The figures still have the strong contour lines we know from his posters, but the background is different, softer, atmospheric, almost impressionistic, with a horizon glowing in golden light. To me, it feels like a missing link, halfway between the Paris posters and the monumental Slavic epic he would later dedicate to his people. This beautiful pencil study reveals Mucha's gentler side. Instead of bold outlines, he builds the figure with soft shading, almost as if he's drawing her into being with a touch. The braided hair, embroidered sleeve, and the wreath in her hair connect her to Moravian folk tradition, while the faint circle behind her feels like a halo. I especially admire his hatching, so delicate, intentional, and luminous, as if he could sketch light and air itself. Mucha was left-handed, but often drew with his right as well. In these studies, he combined pencil or charcoal with touches of white paint to create subtle shifts between shadow and light, delicate, patterned, almost digital in their precision. He was a master of composition and circular forms. In this study, a girl in what looks like a folk costume sits on an oak tree, autumn already in the air. It feels timeless and modern at once. One of my longtime favorites has always been Summer, from the Season series. I've always loved summer, and this poster captures it perfectly. Blue skies, refreshing water, glowing poppies and a girl whose playful expression suggests she's waiting for more and knows she'll have it. When I look at it now, I see something new, the warmth and light of Moravia, hidden inside all that decorative beauty. It feels like home. And finally, the poster for the 6th Sokol gathering, a national gymnastic festival. Here, Mucha fuses decoration with national identity. The symbolism is everywhere. The red cloak of Sokol, the crown shaped like Prague's city walls, the staff topped with Prague's emblem, and the wreath of linden leaves, our national tree. I also love the limited complementary colors, which give it a boldness fitting for a declaration of Czech pride on the eve of independence and birth of Czechoslovakia in 1918. For Mucha, beauty was never just decoration. It was always a way to uplift, to inspire, and to give something back to his people, my people. Ivančice and Piešťany both showed me sides of Mucha I hadn't fully appreciated, especially the folk influence in his drawings and the quiet pride hidden in his decorative details. I began to recognize the Moravian patterns in his ornament, the national voice in his posters, and the love of his homeland in works I had once thought of as purely decorative. Ivančice is a small town surrounded by beautiful nature. Just a short trip from where I live. The perfect place to start the Mucha Trail. Piešťany, on the other hand, is a calm spa town, still holding the atmosphere of the first Czechoslovakia Republic, with its Art Nouveau hotels and quiet streets. Mucha found peace there, and I believe he needed it, because his last years at home were not as happy as one might expect for a celebrated son of Moravia. So, how did I feel after walking this part of the trail? Between the famous posters, the rare sketches, and the folk-inspired studies, I felt like I was meeting Mucha anew. Not only the star of Paris, but the Moravian artist whose roots still speak to me. And this journey isn't over, because the next chapter leads to his greatest work, the Slavic epic.